What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we know every card that is coming around in Starter Deck 14, that new one with Luffy and all that good stuff, the Black Straw Hat Crew one, and that means that we can take a look at the full set list. We still don't know exactly which ones are two ofs, although let's be honest, it's going to be the two super rares, definitely. That we can say probably with a fair degree of certainty. But the good news is we know a whole bunch. We have the full set list. I'm delighted. You should be delighted. So I'm just going to go out there and say maybe we go in order. We go through all the cards. I tell you all the cards. And then we get to the end of the video and you're like, yeah, now I know every card from the deck. Sound like a plan? Excellent. And obviously what we've got here is a leader Luffy and a general theme of increasing the cost of our characters and taking advantage of that. Obviously when we say increasing the cost of characters, we mean increasing the cost when they're on the field. We are not actually increasing the cost of playing them. That would be dumb. So leader Luffy then, what we've got is a skill, Dawn X1. All of your characters gain +1 cost. And if you have an 8 or higher cost character on the field, this leader gets 1,000 power. 8 cost is often, but not always, where we start seeing this really coming in. Cool. Sounds like you're going to out of a bunch of others. Now we've got Usopp here, 3 cost, 4,000 power, counter +1,000. And we've got Dawn X1, when attacking, if you have an 8 cost or higher character on the field, you get to KO one of your opponent's 4 cost or lower characters. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. Obviously, when you put one Don on, Usopp becomes a 5k, which is generally what you're looking for in order to start doing meaningful attacks. So, you put that all together, and you end up with a rather nice card. You're getting some KOs, and you're having a decent attacker. Frankly, it sounds pretty nice to me. Now, Sanji is one of our 2 designated super rares. This will be a 2 of in the deck, the super rares always are. And we've got on play, if you've got a 6 cost or higher character in play, yes, this is one of the easier ones to pull off, then you get to KO one of your opponent's 5 cost or lower characters. Cool. It's obviously pretty similar in a lot of ways to Usopp here. Now, you actually get to KO a higher cost character, 5 rather than 4, with a lower cost character out for you, 6 rather than 8, but it's still a very similar kind of thing that we've got going on here. And obviously, you're going to need some cards to lower your opponent's cost, potentially. We got a couple of them, don't worry, but we are doing a little bit of removal here, and that sounds fun to me. Now, Jinbei is the one card that I've not previously shown you, so let me tell you about it now. 3 cost, 4,000 power, activate main once per turn. Give up to one of your Black Straw Hat Crew characters +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. Oh, cool. You're just increasing the cost until the end of your opponent's next turn, i.e. for the remainder of your turn, and for your opponents. We're going to see a few of these in the deck. It is a little bit of a theme we've got going on here. You raise the cost of your characters, because obviously there are a bunch of your cards where the skills kick in if you've got 6, 8, etc. cost on the field. Well, this will artificially increase the cost, and you've got the leader Luffy and a stage we'll look at in a moment. You put all of that together. There we go. It's going to work quite nicely. Now, we are getting a chopper here. It is a vanilla chopper, I'm afraid. 4 cost, 6,000 power, counter +1,000. It is fine. Remember, the vanilla characters are efficient attackers, which is nice, I suppose. And you can be beefing up their cost with some of the other characters. It's all right. It'll do. Now, we got a Nami coming in, which is very much not a vanilla character. This is the other designated super rare. We got Sanji and Nami. And we got 3 cost, 2,000 power, counter +1,000. And we've got blocker. You need blockers. If you're playing this out of the box, you're going to need some blockers. Nami is a blocker. But then we've got on play, if you have an 8 cost or higher character on the field, and you've got 6 or fewer cards in hand, draw a card. I mean, it's a blocker that helps you draw more cards. Is it a stunning, broken card? No. Is it a decent card which both blocks and draws cards? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Now, Nico Robin's got artwork by Basai, who I'm starting to really fall in love with as an artist. 6 cost, 7,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And on play and when attacking, if you've got an 8 cost or higher character on the field, then up to one of your opponent's characters this turn gets -5 cost. It is this turn, it doesn't carry on your opponent's turn. Useful for some of the triggers we're going to see in a minute. But -5 cost is pretty good, because, you know, we've seen stuff like Usopp and Sanji, which KO characters of a certain cost or lower. Bringing down their cost with this is pretty good. And for what it's worth, Sanji gets a 5 cost or lower. So if you combine Robin and Sanji here, you can literally KO anything. And because it's a play skill and an attacking skill, you will get this every turn. Attacking skills, you don't get the turn you play it. On play skills, you only get the turn you play it. This works out nicely every way. Now, Hereda is a character, I believe, making their debut in this starter deck. And we got 1 cost, 0 power. Ooh. But we got counter plus 2,000. Always nice to have some of that lying around in your deck. And activate main, rest this character. So the power becomes irrelevant, you're not attacking with it. And one of your black Straw Hat crew, until the end of your opponent's next turn, gets +2 cost. That's important. We've said that you need to be increasing your cost. That's how the deck works. That always happens. You just rest it to increase the cost by 2. And it's only black Straw Hat, not anyone else. But after that, if you've got an 8 cost or higher on the board, you get to draw a card and trash a card from your hand. Draw first and then trash, definitely the good way round. And that's alright. It's a bit of a draw engine while increasing your cost. That'll work quite nicely indeed. Now, Frankie is another very much non-vanilla card that we got coming in here. 5 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000. And we've got Don X1 during your opponent's turn. If you've got a 6 cost or higher character on the board, this character cannot be KO'd by effects and gains 2,000 power. So you turn into an 8k that can't be KO'd by effects. It's going to be very hard to get Frankie off the board during your opponent's turn. Which is nice, honestly. Pretty gosh darn nice. Now, Brook, unfortunately, is a vanilla character. 5 cost, 7,000 power, counter plus 1,000. Yeah, I mean, I love the art here, just to be clear. And also, as a side note, if you watch the anime, read the manga, etc., the artwork here is so evocative of the time skip and what they're all doing during it. It's really kind of lovely. But Brook here, I mean, look, we're going to have some vanilla cards. We do in all the starter decks. Brook is one of them. At least the art is nice. Heracles is not one of them. Another character making their debut. And we've got 1 cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 2,000. We want that. And you may rest this character to give one of your black Straw Hat crew +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. Very similar to Hereda's here. The differences basically are you don't get the drawing, boo, but you do get 2,000 power, which means with some Dawn at least, you can make a decent attacker. Now, Luffy is the one I showed you the other day. I like Luffy. 8 cost, 10,000 power. And if you have an 8 cost or higher character on the board, this character gains Rush. But bearing in mind, Leader Luffy is going to make this up to a 9 cost. Or we've already seen 3 different cards that can add 2 costs. We're going to see a stage that can add 1 cost in conjunction with a leader. Getting this up to a 10 cost is not going to be difficult. Honestly, unless you're having just a horrendous game, this should have Rush like every time. Now, Zoro is cool and the artwork is amazing, but it is unfortunately another vanilla character. Adore the artwork, but yeah, it is a vanilla character. 6 cost, 8,000 power, counter plus 1,000. It's okay. Now, those are your characters we're getting, but there are also free event cards, like Gum Gum Giant Rifle. This is a 1 cost card, and as a counter, if you've got an 8 cost or higher character on your board, either your leader or one of your characters gains 3,000 power for this battle. And honestly, if you don't have an 8 cost or higher, you shouldn't be playing it. And then as a trigger, you get to take a 2 cost or lower character card from your trash and add it to your hand. Cool. That'll do quite nicely. Bearing in mind, we've seen a couple of 1 cost characters in this deck that have counter plus 2000. Not a coincidence. Not even a little bit. Now, we've also got the ridiculously named Gum Gum Diablo Free Sword Style Mouton £600 Cannon. Shout out to Orange Samurai D for helping me figure out the name of that one. Yeah, it's kind of got an annoying name, honestly. Don't want to be rude. It's just a ridiculously named card. But it gives your leader or one of your characters 3k more for this turn. And then if you've got an 8 cost or higher on board, then you get to KO a 2 cost or lower character of your opponent. But again, we got stuff like Robin to help us out with that. And then as a trigger, if you've got an 8 cost or higher on the board, you get to KO a 5 cost or lower character. Remember, Robin only lowers cost during your turn, so if this comes out as a trigger, Robin will unfortunately no longer be working. That is unfortunate, but that's the way. We've then got I Have My Crew as a main, draw a card, and then up to one of your characters until the end of your opponent's next turn gets plus 3 cost. Cool. It's what this deck should be doing. And then as a trigger, you get to KO one of your opponent's 3 cost or lower characters, which is nice. And then we have one stage here. The stage is Thousand Sunny. It's the boat, obviously. And what we've got here is it gives all of your black Straw Hat crew plus 1 cost. So this plus Luffy is just basically a permanent plus 2 cost. And on play, if your leader is a black Straw Hat crew, you draw a card. I mean, it's boosting all of you by 1 cost. And if you're playing the, hey, I'm playing a black deck, let's go for increased cost, then yeah, this is going to be a very, very good thing to do. But being able to play this and immediately replace it in your hand by drawing a card, yeah, that's not bad, honestly. That's not bad. Right, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of these cards. Tell me what you're excited about. Tell me what your favorites are. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.